City of Stevens Point Board of Public Works meeting, recorded April 8, 2019.
I'll call the regular Board of Public Works meeting to order. Quick attendance shows that all members are present. So we will move into the agenda. Item number 1 is to accept the director's report and place it on file. Director, anything to add?
No, nothing to add.
Comments for the director?
I have
Alderman
a
McComb?
question about the traffic calming on the west side. I know you transmitted some information to Kyle for the Bike Ped Committee about how residents can request traffic calming. You and I have been talking about this for several months, and it's not on the report.
It's not on the report, so we can't talk about that. And Logan, we had talked about the director's report. Did you want to make any comments in regards to what can and cannot be discussed on the director's report?
You know, I think generally you have to think about what is the public's level of interest in a topic. That is relevant when you're talking about public meetings, notice provisions. So if somebody wants to mention, you know, the number of street signs that have been replaced or something really pedestrian like that and say, you know, what's going on, you know, huge uptick, and then the director says, well, this time of year, you know, snow clears, we go out and replace ones that have been knocked down, that sort of thing. I don't think that there's any real risk there, but, you know, using this as a window into a highly controversial or very substantial monetary topic or something like that, I think it's not fair to the public who would look at the cover sheet of the agenda and see director's report and go, ho-hum, nothing there, but might be very interested if they knew that that was going to lead to a conversation about something that they really care about. So I think just, you know, kind of keep in mind that. It doesn't mean that there can't be any discussion at all of any of the topics contained within it. But certainly just, like I said, don't use it as sort of a backdoor into a conversation about something that you know people out there have a high degree of interest in.
Thank you. What I will do is I will ask the director tomorrow or maybe Wednesday to put together a paragraph or two about what we're doing in that area and what we may be intending to do in that area, and then we can post it on the city website, and I think that would meet the requirements.
And another option, actually, if you just allow me real quick here, I had reason to look at a couple old agendas from one of our commissions today, and the director's report there actually had a really short series of bullet points listed, you know, director's report and a couple bullet points of things that are on it. So certainly if we wanted to just start that as a practice where on the cover sheet that actually, you know, is our legal notice of the meeting, to include a couple bullet points if there are major issues discussed within it that you suspect people might want to talk about, because then we're fine. Everybody has noticed that that's going to be potentially up for discussion.
And then I'll have the director work with you, Logan, on future director reports, so we can have a little more flexibility with that.
Okay.
Alderman McComb, you have some additional comments?
Yes, I do. Under Stanley Street improvements, it says training is scheduled April 18th. After the training is complete, staff will practice on a few lower profile areas before restriping Stanley Street. This is what Director Benoot and I have been talking about. It is referenced in the director's report. I want to make sure that people's requests on the west side don't fall through the cracks.
Thank you. Alder Morrow.
Could Director Benoot explain what a full-depth joint repair is?
Certainly. Full depth joint repair would be, actually, it was one of the projects we did last year, Centerpoint and do that, where the general failing part of a concrete road is in the joints. That's where you're going to get water intrusion, and the freeze thaw and stuff starts to break those out. Is where you'll get any differential settlement of the concrete, and then plows will chip that out. So what they actually do is they take, you know, it sounds counterproductive, but actually it's the natural progression of concrete roads. Is you take one joint, you cut out that joint on each side of it, and then replace it with another narrower panel. So you're replacing just the portions each side of the joint, but you're replacing the full depth of the concrete all the way down to the base beneath it.
Okay.
I have
One more question, go ahead.
What is what is being planned for Reserve Street, Ellis to Exon Street, and also from Water Street to Riverview Avenue? When you have a pre-construction
Yep.
conference.
So, yes, Reserve Street is a partial, full reconstruction and a partial just resurfacing, reconstruction, surface reconstruction of work. So from Ellis Street to Oak Street, all the utilities as well will be replaced within there. From Oak Street south to Dixon, it'll just be the surface components there. The road, curb gutter, sidewalk will be replaced. As far as the Whiting was the other one?
Yep.
Yep.
We're gonna be talking about that later,
For-
too.
Yep. For Whiting is basically a resurfacing project. We'll be widening the road a little bit to add an urban shoulder, as well as then addressing the new Schrader Connector Trail that crosses it to improve that connection to make it a safer, more bike and pedestrian friendly as it crosses that roadway.
And Fifth Avenue to Pulaski?
Fifth and Pulaski and some other segments of streets in that general area connecting those. Those are just full reconstruction, all utilities, all surface treatments, so that will be all new roadway, curb to curb, and everything beneath it.
Okay.
Is that it? Alderperson Jennings.
Have the letters gone out for Fifth Avenue and Pulaski Place
Letters being,
to the residents?
they had received notice for the public informational meeting that was held some months back. What we're at now is once we get the pre-construction conference completed and have the contractor schedule, we'll be contacting residents once again to let them know how that work will be impacting them, since it won't all be done at one time.
Okay. Any other questions from the committee? Questions from the audience? Not, I would entertain a motion to accept the director's report and place it on file.
So move.
Thank you. We have a second.
Second.
Second by Alderperson Morrow. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that is approved. Item number 2 is to award the Whiting Avenue Reconstruction Project, 19.09, I'm sorry, 19-09. We had the bid opening today. Director?
We're still in a very good bidding environment, and we're realizing that we had 4 bids received today. And this is a relatively small project, so the fact that we have that much interest in it here still in April is very promising. The bid prices came in very reasonable. We had estimated, a couple of things here, I guess, we had estimated about $700,000 for the project, so at the $660 roughly for the base bid came in is actually very good. This project, however, is a little bit over what we had budgeted last fall for it. However, we have enough in carryover from last year and other capital spending elements to cover the difference. With this one, I would be asking for approval to use the base bid with the contingency. I don't anticipate that we will need to utilize all that. However, the alternate bid, like we've done on all of our previous projects, is to utilize our road mat that we have stored at the pit. That is starting to whittle away, and the reality is that we don't, honestly, know we don't have such an accurate calculation of how much exists there. So just to be safe, I'd like to be able to use the base bid. We'll try to utilize our material as much as we can to save money, but it is feasible that, in fact, probable that we could run out before all 3 of our projects for the year are completed.
So, Director, you'd be looking for a motion to approve the bid from Stuchinski Trucking in an amount not to exceed bid plus contingency, which is $757,743.79. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. Any questions for the director regarding the bids?
I have a question.
Alder Morrow?
One thing that Director Badun did say was that he was worried that he might be running out of money. Is there a plan for, if you find out that we are running out of money, where the priorities are going to be as what to not do or what to try to maybe delay?
Well, Director, you weren't talking about the money, you were talking about the road base, right?
Well, I was talking
I
about the
thought-
road base running out, but yeah, so just the fact that what we have, the alternate bid price on this is utilizing road mat that we have.
Okay.
There's only a finite amount of that to do it, and our, estimating what we feel we have in the pit is coming very close, in fact, slightly under what we anticipated to be utilized on all 3 of the projects.
Okay.
So we're not sure we'd have enough to carry through on all three of them. The other ones we had accepted as far as brought forward for that approval, utilizing the alternate bid item to utilize that material. So in this case, I was just looking for some freedom to have the flexibility that if we did run out and we need to go back, I didn't have to come back to this body and say, we're on hold until we can get more money so we can, actually have the contractor provide road mat. As far as the money aspect of it, this is higher than we estimated last fall, and that's a result because the scope of the project grew slightly. However, we do have that money to cover.
Does that answer your question, Alder?
Yep.
Any other questions? Alder Slawinski?
I just want to make a motion.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve the Whiting Avenue Reconstruction Project 19-09 to Stuchinski Trucking for the amount of $757,743.79,
That's not to exceed, correct?
not to exceed, and then I do have a comment if there's a second.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
We'll give the second to Alder Jennings.
And
Comment.
I guess I just want to, it's always nice to see a local contractor be competitive and win the bid, a reputable local contractor. And I do have a question about, so I'm assuming Stuchinski's in agreement with the whole, if we run out of the base, that they'll be able to provide and it,
Yes, yeah, they said they're basically, free to do whichever,
Okay.
however it works out.
and just looking at, I'm assuming the numbers came out the same as when they bid.
Right, so just to explain things a little bit, the amount that you have just motioned to approve would include the price of them supplying the base.
Yes.
Directly below that would be the alternate with us supplying all of the base, which is about $712,600. You have made a motion to approve that because if we run out of our base,
Yeah, I understand.
Okay,
I
gotcha.
understand, I'm just, as far as Stuchinski's agreement that,
gotcha.
that we will be, they'll be using ours until we run out, and then they'll have to supplement whatever.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions from the committee? Comments from the audience? Seeing none, the motion is to approve the awarding of the bid for the Whiting Avenue Reconstruction Project 19-09 to Stuchinski Trucking in an amount not to exceed $757,743.79. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that is approved. Item number 3 is to accept the ordinance amendment for section 9.05 regarding parking and loading zones. Director?
All right, we have several things here. The first part of it just has to do with cleaning up the code. We've been going through it here for actually several months in different fashions. Some of these things have just recently been raised by the PD and trying to sort out exactly how to do enforcement, proper enforcement. Some of the signage didn't match for some areas downtown, so we thought we'd address those as we continue to clean up on some of the other ones and look at what exists in the field and is being enforced versus what is actually on the books. In many cases, there's just multiple things on the books, and one of them is actually, signed, in the field and all. So that would be sections 1, 2, 3, and 5 of the ordinance amendment. They're related to repealing of parking and loading zones downtown. The other two parts of it are related to handicap parking. One is to expand the handicap parking downtown by creating a reserve spot on Main Street. The other was at a request of Pacelli Catholic Middle School, who was looking for some handicap parking as they do not have a parking lot. And talking to other departments, we've identified an area there for them on 4th Avenue near their handicap entrance.
Okay, any questions for the director? I want to point out, too, that the handicap spot on Main Street is coming due to a citizen concern. When we actually took a look, there's handicap spots on both ends of Main Street, but nothing in the middle. So this will hopefully help. Alder Jennings, did you have a question or comment?
I'm just wondering if the director could explain, because when I brought this forward, it was related to the new pharmacy. So I'm just wondering why the choice is closer to the wooden chair rather than the other end where there's already a bump out and already extra space near Strong's.
Your strong, yes. The, really, this was just out of convenience, and there will be more work to have to be done to get this fully compliant. Because there would only be this one stall in this area, we felt it best to take the approach to make it van accessible. When you're utilizing angle parking, it's one of the minor known things, but it's in the guidance. When you do that, the access aisle has to be on the passenger side. And so when we otherwise do this, as you pull up here, this would actually put this area directly on the passenger side where there is already an existing opening there. And there should be sufficient room there to add the ADA compliant ramp, which will still need to be added. Because this access aisle does not connect directly with the curb cut at the crosswalk, one will have to be put in.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for the director? Comments from the audience? Seeing none, we would entertain a motion to approve those ordinance amendments.
So moved.
Alder Morrow, thank you. Seconded by Alderperson Kneebone. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And that is approved, and we are adjourned at 6:32.
A video of this meeting is available for viewing on the city's website, stevenspoint.com/videos.